Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be talking about something interesting that just happened. Something that I knew I was going to have to talk about anyway, no matter what went down, but the way it went down is not what I expected. Today we're going to be talking about the Scourge the Hedgehog comic and how it didn't happen, why it failed, and why it's canceled. A lot of people are already coming up with their own ideas to how this comic got canceled, and it's not what they're saying. So just for history's sake, I'm going to make this stream and talk about the craziness that made this comic go away. So right now on screen, you can see that I'm showing you a comic called Imposter Syndrome. Imposter Syndrome features a new character that ÍN helped come up with called Scourge. Scourge is based off of Ashura the Hedgehog. Ashura the Hedgehog is a glitch for Sonic the Hedgehog. I already did a video on this with Taylor a while back, so if you want to go watch that and get a brief history lesson on Ashura, go watch that. But basically, this character is evil. They're a punk. They are based off of Ashura the Hedgehog. They have a distinct look to them, and they are as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog. That's important to know. Just keep that in mind. Well, Ken Penders owns Scourge the Hedgehog, and he decided that he would give the rights to, well, or at least lend the rights to this group of people who are making their own comic. This comic company is called Rush Comics, and apparently the only other thing they've made is a comic called Rush, so very befitting name. This is their tweet talking about their comic. They say, Rush Comics is associated with Ken Penders, is proud to announce production of a 4-issue miniseries, Scourge the Speed Demon. Now, it's funny that Ken would announce Scourge the Speed Demon right at the same time that Imposter Syndrome is going to launch. Scourge the Hedgehog is a green hedgehog who in this iteration is based off of Ashura the Hedgehog, who in this iteration looks like Ashura the Hedgehog, and is an evil Sonic that can run just as fast as Sonic. So he has a lot in common with ÍN new character, Scourge. And funny enough, ÍN is the one who helped create the green design for Scourge. Let's talk some more about that. Ken Penders did not come up with the green Scourge. Ken Penders came up with this Scourge, and he didn't even come up with this Scourge by himself. So Ken Penders won Scourge the Hedgehog in a lawsuit against Archie. I have not done a video on that yet. That is too much insanity for me to even think about covering right now. But this is the Scourge that Ken Penders ended up winning. Now, Ken Penders did not create this character on his own. Ken Penders had help. And the first time that the Scourge character would appear, the green one, would be in Archie issue 160. This is the cover right here. And Ken Penders will actually admit that he did not create Scourge by himself. He even said that in his post announcing this. He's like, at long last, I'm happy to present the team working on a character I originally co-created with Mike. And I can't read his last name, so I'm just going to call him Mike. In the very first story we sold to Archie. So not only was this a co-creation, it's also one of the first ones he sold to Archie. So it's very befitting that he stole it from Archie as well. What a long, strange trip it's been. And I'm looking forward to seeing the release of Scourge the Speed Demon. So when Ken won the lawsuit, he won all the things that he created, but he isn't allowed to reference Sega-owned properties. But having said that, the green Scourge design, especially the one that we see here, the one with the scars on his chest and the red sunglasses and that jacket, that was not come up with by Ken. So even though Ken won the lawsuit, he shouldn't have any rights to this design for Scourge at all. We can actually see in one of the back pages of the Sonic comics exactly how they came up with the redesign for Scourge. And I'm going to read that for you guys. And just a bit of a spoiler ahead of time, Ken Penders is not mentioned at all. So Ken Penders was not involved in the redesign of Scourge. He actually wasn't even working for Archie at the time. So, funny that Ken thinks that he has any rights to this design, but let's read what caused the redesign to happen. So, now that you just read the story behind Scourge, write in and let us know what you think of Mean Green. Funny how things happen. I was talking with Archie over colorist extraordinaire Tito about how to make evil Sonic cooler. And funny enough, at the moment, Spaz, Sonic Artist Extraordinaire, called and we talked about the idea of Scourge. So the first person that Mike talked to was Spaz. Spaz was the guy who did most of the comic covers for Archie. But they haven't mentioned Ken Penders yet. A great drawing later, and Scourge had a new look with this name. So according to him, according to Mike, despite what some people are saying, Ian Flynn didn't come up with the name Scourge, and he didn't come up with the design. It's actually Spaz that came up with the design, and it's actually Mike that came up with the new name. So Mike should own it, not Ian Flynn, and Spaz should own the Green Scourge, not Ian Flynn. But Ian Flynn did write the new backstory, so Ian Flynn does partially own it. A great drawing later, and Scourge had a new look with his new name. A quick call to writer Ian Flynn, and we had our super cool story. And with new Sonic artist Tracy Yardley bringing the character to life, with the help of Jim Ash, John Workman, and Jason Jensen, we had one of the best Sonic stories in years. Funny enough, Tito helped come up with the name for the super creepy villainous Dr. Fentevis back in Sonic the Hedgehog 138 through 141, who of course has returned and will play a dark role in the upcoming stories. So you can even see Mike's signature there. Mike did not bring up Ken Penders. Mike probably wasn't even talking to Ken Penders at this point because Ken fucked over everyone at Archie. So Ken has nothing to do with Green Scourge. He did not come up with the name. He did not come up with the design. He did not come up with the backstory. He didn't even come up with the redrawing of the character. The only thing Ken had any involvement with was this version of Scourge. So if Ken's gonna make a comic book, despite this looking just like Sonic, this is the Scourge that he owns. So I don't know. If I were Ken, I would have had the guy redesign the blue Scourge rather than steal someone else's Scourge, because we're talking about that Ken wanted to use his characters, and by all means, Scourge should not be his character, but chances are no one's petty enough to actually fight him on this. But anyway, the second that this got announced, a bunch of people on Discord got really angry, and we're gonna read some of the things that these angry, crazy individuals had to say, as if they weren't bad enough. Penders is fighting a losing battle. The S stands for Sonic. Penders is asking to be killed at this point, both with his talent and his life. Seriously, he's painting a giant ass target on his back. That's really fucking funny. Bruh, it's a comic about a cartoon rat. Calm down, I can agree with that. As I said, Penders is painting a very big target on his back, and people are gonna want him dead. Are you okay? Yes, but this reeks of him wanting to repeat history and cry foul. This is just a person on the internet being a dumbass. A Sonic fan isn't going to fucking JFK him, lol. No, but someone else will. So, you can already see the rational people who don't like Ken Penders, who decided to say that they hope he gets JFK'd. Because he stole someone's green Sonic OC. I think that it's fucked that Ken decided to do that, but I also think it's fucked that people are acting this crazy over a fucking cartoon hedgehog. And this is just to show you that people already wanted Ken to pay for what he did. And this wouldn't be the end of it. Someone called Caldroids ended up posting on Twitter, Okay, joke's over, everyone. The lead artist for this comic is a white supremacist. And we see the lead artist being tweeted out by the Scourge The Speed Demon comic. And we see that they follow gasp, Le Donald Trump Archive, Paul Joseph Watson. I don't know that third one. PragerU, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder. Now, here's what I'm gonna say. This is almost baby's first steps to being an alt-writer. I don't think it should matter who he fucking follows. The only thing that should matter is if he's putting the right-wing shit into the fucking comic, which he wouldn't be because he's a fucking artist. I doubt that he would have Donald Trump hiding in the background of his comics. I really doubt that he'd be sneaking alt-right propaganda into his fucking comic. But I get what this person's doing. They don't actually fucking care about the politics. They don't actually fucking care about anything. They're just a crazy person who wants to attack Ken Penders, which I don't like Ken Penders. I've been against Ken Penders for a while, and I've poked fun at Ken Penders for a while. I'm not in his camp, and his followers don't like me. In fact, they kind of hate me. But having said that, I wouldn't go this far to slight Ken Penders. This is just silly. I don't even think that this makes you alt-right, just following these people. It really feels like a Scott Coffin thing all over again. But yeah, the Scourge account, which is now deleted, ended up making this statement. Here's an archive of it, just so you see that this statement did happen and it did come from them. And this is what they had to say. To tackle something directly, our lead artist does not believe in hateful ideologies. You're already starting out on a bad note by using those terminologies, but whatever. And we do not support or condone such beliefs. It started with a baseless accusation in an attempt to debase our comic and our team. We will not tolerate any harassment. I mean, you're right, they are trying to harass you and they are trying to debase you, but giving them the attention isn't going to help your case. We understand that we are an unknown factor creating the next Scourge miniseries, but focusing on someone's outdated following feed does not confirm such awful accusations, which is true. That's a fair statement to make. But, you should have just had him unfollow the people and had him make a statement, but whatever. Said rumor has spiraled based on misinterpretation. Ken Penders licensed the character Scourge to Rush Comics, not for anywhere near the rumored amount, as we only have Scourge. He isn't involved creatively. The entire comic will be our own vision. We are just fans that saw the opportunity to work with the character we love. Now that that's cleared up, we look forward to releasing these issues as they come out to share with the public. So it seems like they're already fine with people accusing them of being alt-right propaganda, and it seems like they're trying to put a stamp on where their goals are and who they actually are. Let's see how long that fucking lasts. They immediately make this other statement. We're scrapping the Scourge comic due to the sheer toxic reaction. So not even a day, and they immediately cancel it. This is what this shit does to people. And it's really sad. It's really fucking sad, because when I saw Ken Penders steal Green Scourge, I expected either Mike, Ian Flynn, or someone to call out Ken Penders. I expected there to be a big epic battle over who owns Scourge. I expected a bunch of people to cry over the comic coming out, if it ever did come out. I was going to review the comic, because it's definitely going to be shit, and I was going to have fun with it. The guy who's making the comic makes a weirdo furry comic. It was going to be hilarious. But instead, this is how our story ends, with a butthurt idiot online who decided to call someone alt-right. Very anticlimactic and very boring of an ending. And I hate political correctness because of it. And presumptions from the community. We wanted to work with this character and create a story and world fitting of the king to share with the people who wanted to see Scourge make a return. It's painfully clear to us no matter how high quality the series would have turned out, it would still be shit on regardless, due to the extreme, pre-existing biases and unfair judgments before the actual issue released. Well, you could have just fired the lead artist and got a new one. I know it's a hard thing to say. The preview art that I saw wasn't even that good. So you could have got someone that had more of a Sonic art style, got rid of that guy, say, we disagree with the beliefs of our artist, but we have decided to work with someone else, and then it would have made you look good. I get that it's fucked to throw your friend under the boat, but it's either you agree with him and you help him, or you get a new artist and you save face. Like, just giving up is kind of a stupid thing to do. What we simply saw was an exciting opportunity to work with this character we all enjoyed, was quickly turned into a shitstorm. That's Sonic in general. The Sonic fandom sucks and they make everything that they touch terrible. We tried to bring Scourge back, only to be met with hostility and unacceptable behavior. We're not going to subject ourselves to that kind of abuse, which is good for you, just for a creative endeavor. You know you were going to make money off of this too. Don't pretend like it's just for the art. When we have other opportunities lined up to focus on, funny. I'll read those other comics eventually. We wanted to thank people who were kind enough to offer us encouragement and support. We have already funded all donations in full. So, apparently people gave them money for this, so they refunded it. And this person, there's more like this, but I'm just calling this person out in particular, Scurvy Pirate Hog. So the Scourge comic that was licensed through Penders has been canceled. That didn't take long, and they brag about the account being gone, and they make a post with the new Scourge character called Surge, and it's like, all hail the queen, baby. And I think this shit's cringe. Like, it's okay to not support the comic, but to brag about someone's downfall and then shill your own, like, female version of said character, it just seems really fucking petty. It seems like you guys went out of your way to accuse someone of being a racist, alright fucking weirdo, just so you could fucking shill your character that you want to see because it's from the writer you like. I don't like Ian Flynn and I don't like Ken Penders, and I think their groups are toxic. I think both sides are fucking terrible and they're made up of terrible people. And people like Scurvy Pirate Hog are a damn good example of the fucking weirdos that are obsessed with these two grown fucking men who write for Sonic the Hedgehog, or used to write for one of them. And some people are wondering, what does Ken Penders charge to write for these characters? And according to the guy who wrote the Scourge comic, they didn't pay this much. But I think you guys should know how much it costs to rent one of Ken's characters. I'll even state some of my financial terms for licensing. A $10,000 advance against royalties for a 2-year license, automatically renewable if my characters are continue to be used. Said renewal would also include an advance against royalties at the time. So Ken wants to charge $10,000 to use some of his characters. Now, I think that's for using multiple of his characters, but none of these characters are worth paying anywhere near that amount for. And I don't know how much the Scourge people paid for the character, but it's ridiculous that Ken would charge something like that. Maybe if Ken said, I want half of the profits that you make from the comic, it'd be more fair, because, yeah, you're owed what you're due. But instead, he just wants a bunch of money up front for something that's probably going to fucking flop. And I would say just don't pay Ken Penders for this shit. Come up with your own fucking Sonic ripoff. Don't pay him for something he doesn't fucking own. And one of the things I want to point out is Ken is trying to lend out Jeffrey St. John, which is a character I would definitely like to steal from Ken Penders. If I were to give Ken Penders $10,000, it would be for the best character ever, Jeffrey St. John. He's also trying to lend out Queen Alicia, which is basically Sally Acorn. Sonic's parents, who are basically Sonic the Hedgehog, so you can make a Sonic Parents comic if you want to. And Dylan the fucking Porcupine, everyone's favorite character. So yeah, that's some of the things that he's willing to lend out. That was the downfall of Scourge the Speed Demon. And it's a tragic story. We could have had something funny. We could have had something cringy. We could have had a comic to laugh at and furries to mock. But instead, we have a tale of a butthurt loser who decided to call someone alt-right, and a comic company that can't stick to its principles and can't stick to its guns, and ends up immediately folding at the first sign of pressure. So congrats, Sonic fandom. You guys are still as fucking cringy, as toxic, and as fucking terrible as you always have been. This is why people don't fucking like you. This is why you can't have nice things. This is why no one's allowed to do anything cool. This is why Sonic has no fucking identity. This is why everything Sonic related is stagnated and fucking boring, because you guys can't make up your mind on anything. You suck. You suck, and you suck the fun out of Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't even have a cringy fucking recolor to make fun of, because you guys have to go around calling people racist. So congrats. You fucking won. You fucking won, Ian Flynn people. Give yourself a good pat on the back and jerk off to Scourge the Hedgehog. Or Scourge the fucking Tenric. Whatever you want to fucking call this character. Go make your Rule 34 and have a good fucking week. Because now I don't get to make fun of a furry. You guys ruined my fun, and now I had to make this stupid video instead of the video I wanted to make. So yeah. Bit bitter. I really wanted better from this. Hopefully you guys like this stream though. If you like it, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Hopefully the next time we bring back Sonic Insanity, we'll get to make fun of something rather than talk about how political correctness is ruining everything. Bye guys.